All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Free Friday Coaching Call. For those of you that might catch this on recording, we're welcoming you too. We have over 900 people that are signed up on our email list to get these recordings. For those of you that might be joining us live for the first time, want to welcome you. And for those that are repeats, and are here consistently. Good to see your faces and welcome back. So, this call happens the first and third Fridays of every month. It's a combination of mindset and skill set targeted to the real estate community. However, skill sets are transferable, and what works in one area of life works in all areas of life if you're looking to make an application of it. And so, the people that come on this call are people that have a growth mindset. They're looking to grow and improve and continue on that journey. And so I love this call for that and the people that jump on it. And I also love being able to interview. I love that. Yes, discipline bleeds. I love being able to interview people that have created such a niche in their space and are really have mastered and are mastering things at a really high level. And so our guest today is one of those people. He's somebody that I saw for the first time on stage in Cabo at a real estate event that was a few years back. And I remember sitting in the audience because I thought to myself, the information that he delivered and the way that he delivered it was so brilliant, particularly with an audience of entrepreneurs in real estate, because the norm for a real estate agent is to be a financial disaster, even though we're in an industry where you can make really great money. And so, learning the habits, principles, and reference points of how to be a steward in that space, and to whom much is given, much will be expected, and that how we handle money and life and finance is another relationship in our lives, and that there's principles that guide that to create it at the highest level. And so as I was sitting in the audience that day, like I literally, Matt, remember you from that conversation because it was so valuable, particularly for people that enter a space of entrepreneurship and real estate looking to create some freedom and flexibility and wealth in their lives, and that it evades so many people, even though they're in an industry that can provide that. So I am super excited to have him on the call today. And he's an expert in finances and business, and he's a speaker, he's an author, and somebody that is here in the context of contribution today. Matt, welcome to the call. And you are on mute.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Empire Builders, so much. It's an honor. Like, I love coming on these Friday calls, these team calls, whether it's a real estate team or the organizations that you all have built. I love having the conversation. I have a deck that I go through, but I believe that these calls are much more important about the conversation than they are about like the content that I'm going to share. So I always want to make sure that I'm in the right room. I always want to make sure that I'm in the right room and having the right conversation. You all got started in the world of real estate because you wanted to be expert contract writers and chauffeurs and door openers your entire life. Yes or no?
Nobody's raising their hand for
Okay,
that.
good. I'm in the right room. I'm in the right room. Okay, cool. You got into real estate for money. We got into the real estate for freedom. We got into the real estate industry for impact in whatever area, like Casey was saying, like any area of life that we want, whether it's health and fitness or whether it's money or whether it's relationship. Again, money is just another relationship. It's one of the things that I love doing as a financial coach is like helping business owners or helping partners and spouses build a healthy relationship between business and personal finances that empowers them to go make confident decisions to go create stress-free wealth. That's what I do at the core. Um, and
Before we jump
internally,
in, yeah, before
internally, I want to make sure that like, hey, if there is a question, type it in the chat, raise your hand. I want to create a space over the next 40, 45 minutes that we can have that conversation because I don't want you to leave this call and not have the thing answered because I wanted to go through a slide deck. So I want to leave that with you all, Casey. We can take this thing as wherever you want to go. I can rip for 35 minutes or it can literally be a Q&A back and forth. You tell me.
I love it. Well, I think where we always like to start with is because, in any, I know when I go into a room and there's a speaker on stage, whether we say it verbally or not, it's like, who are you and why should I listen to you?
Sure.
And so the story of how someone gets to have an audience to speak to, I think is really important. And I think the majority of people that are on the call today don't know your story. So if you'd be
Yeah.
willing to share the 2 to 3 minute version of,
Yeah.
who's Matt? How do we get here today? And I think that'll be a great starting point for the conversation. And then we'll go through whatever you want. I'll jump in.
Perfect.
Anybody can jump in with questions and
Love it.
we'll flow with. Does that work?
Awesome. Here we go. I'm going to just share a quick screen. We're talking about how to create stress-free wealth. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash is king. I want you to write this down. I don't believe you can have enough cash on hand. In 2026, we can't have enough money. We can't have enough cash. Whether it's cash on hand, whether it's cash in the bank, whether it's cash sitting in a vault, we need cash. And I did not, and it was took me a very long time to get to that place because I was always fighting my own demon. I couldn't get out of my own way. And I started that process in 2014, 300 pounds, alcoholic, addictive sports gambler, smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day, fast food twice a day, married to my college sweetheart, not showing up as the person she married. Started losing weight, lost 100 pounds in a year. In that process, made a decision to stop drinking, been sober 12 years. Haven't placed a sports bet in 12 years. It's actually 14 years now that I think about it. It's 2012. How are we in 2026? Like, it is mind-boggling. This was all 14 years ago. Created transformation. Found ourselves $500,000 in debt because we were buying things on payments. Who's been there? We can afford the $500 payment. We can afford the $1,000 credit card bill. We can afford the $1,500 whatever, the rental property. If it's rented, if the tenant pays, if the roof doesn't leak, if, like we've all done it. Whether it's a pair of shoes or it's a rental building, we've all done things because we could afford the payment. I lived an entire life on it. We went through Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University. We got exposed to Jesus. We accepted Jesus. And over the next 40 months, we eliminated $500,000 worth of debt by living on nothing, gang. Like truly beans and rice, living on nothing, but having a little bit of fun, a little bit of life. But I knew I needed to make more money. I wasn't in the world of real estate. I was like, who can, in what world can I go build something that I can go build it as big as I want? Insert the world of real estate. Had my first $10,000 check, went around a room like this. I had no idea what to do with business money, Casey. I didn't know what to do. You sent me a W-2 check because I sold 3 things and I got a W-2 and taxes were already taken out. I know what to do with that money. Give, save, spend. Got it. Business money, no clue. What's profit? What's a profit and loss statement? What's a balance sheet? I didn't know. All I knew was how to go make money. So I interviewed a room just like this. And I said, Casey, what do I do with my next $10,000 check? What do you do? Selena, what do you do? Mike, what do you do? Chris, what do you do? Deb, what? Like, I don't know what to do. And I didn't hear hire a coach, create a marketing system, hire an admin, get things off your plate, go lead generate every single day. I heard pay last year's taxes and next month's car note. And I'm like, I just solved all of this problem. My client is no longer the buyer or seller. It is now the real estate agent. It's the team leader. It's the team owner. It's the broker owner. And over the next 5 years, I interviewed and coached thousands of real estate agents. I wrote an ebook. I want to give it to you as a gift today. I'll drop it in the chat when we're having a conversation on how to create stress-free wealth. It's mattplumer.com/ebook. I'll drop it in the chat. And through that, we're going to have a conversation on creating a financial transformation. Like, does anyone want to just be in the same place they are 12 months from now and have Groundhog Day for 30 years? No, we've got to transform. And so the first step of every transformation is awareness. Is awareness. Awareness is the all of the truth and the facts that have led up to today. The way you look, right? I'll never forget this. The day you're born, you look like your parents. The day you die, you look like your decisions. And so when we write down all of our facts, I've sold this many houses, I have this much cash, I have this much debt, I have this many assets and liabilities, I have this much reoccurring income, this much money's coming in November or January, February, and March. These are the facts. I weigh this. I have this relationship with my spouse. I have this relationship with Jesus. I have this relationship with my calendar. It's just the facts, gang. The facts are truth, and the truth will set you free. It's okay to be where you are, but it's not okay to stay there. We can't just keep having Groundhog Day over and over and over. We got to tell Groundhog Phil we are done with winter and it is summertime for the next 20 years. Now we're going to have fall, we're going to have spring, we're going to have winter, but we're going to be in let's go get it mode until the day we decide that we're ready to exit the transaction treadmill. And that's the thing I helped write and that I use through my book is that the number one mistake that agents make is they don't have a plan or know how to get off the transaction treadmill. So I want to encourage you, decide what you want and when you want it. I call it your Oz. What do you want? When do you want it? Our Oz, 55, house in Cabo, at least 4 months a year, overlooking the beach, the ocean, the mountains, and a golf course. That takes a lot of money. In 2030, it's going to take a lot of money, a lot more than it's going to take in 2020, you know, when I determined that goal. But how much does it take? Well, it's going to take this much cash to buy the place. It's going to take this much money to live. It's going to take that much money to join the golf course. I need X amount of dollars in my revenue share group or X amount of dollars in my coaching group to be able to just unplug from Las Vegas and go to Cabo for 4 months. Like you need certain things set up. So now when we look back and we bring all of that to the now, what do I have to do? Oh, on Friday, I need to do a Zoom for Casey. And 6 people follow me on Instagram. And 7 download my ebook. And I build a relationship with those people. And I do that every single Friday for the next 50 months, 50 weeks. I've got a lot of people to go serve. And if I do that for the next 5 years, there's a very good chance that we probably find ourselves at our Oz 6 years from now. So what is that like for you? Figure out what it is. How many people do you have to serve today and have a direct conversation with to attract them to your brokerage, to go sell a house or whatever it is, the thing that you do. If there's lenders on here, mortgage. If there's title on here, you got to go meet with title. You got to go meet with real estate agents. As Casey said, like it doesn't matter if you're selling, if you are on Mike's team, I don't see Griffin in there, but if you're like Griffin and the other team agents, Chris, on Mike's team, or if you're Mike the owner, or Casey the, in charge of a revenue share group, like it doesn't matter who you are. You still need to identify what your Oz is. Awareness starts that process. Next, we got to make a decision. What decision are we have to make? If you're in debt, stop borrowing money. Easy. You need to lose 20 pounds. Don't worry about what you eat. Just go walk around the block 5 times today. As I typed in the chat, discipline bleeds. When you get your money right, your health will fall in line. When you get your health in line, you'll get your drinking in order. Or in my case, cut it out. When you get those two in lines, guess how many fights and struggles you have in your marriage, right? Things start to go away. Now, this doesn't mean that's like easy peasy, everything's sunshine and rainbows here with Matt and Melinda, but the conversations are way different in 2026 than they were in 2016 when we had no money and we were strapped in debt. The conversations are different because we made a decision. And the last step of that process is intentionality. Where are you intentional on a daily basis tracking the things that matter the most? Are you tracking your money? Are you tracking your food? Are you tracking your dates? Are you tracking how many appointments you go on? Griffin Dobson, who's on Mike's team, is in my group coaching program. And I asked Griffin, and we start every call with a win. And Griffin is a little timid on sharing his win, so I have to pull it out of him a little bit. But I asked him because I felt the room like shifting a little bit, and I was like, "Hey, Griffin, um, how many houses did you sell last month?" And it was like this number. And I was like, "Okay, great. How many calls did you make in the month of January?" And in less than 12 seconds, 436, 436. In 12 seconds. How many people did you talk to? 700 or 137 in 12 seconds. Why? Because he tracks it every single day. Look at him. I mean, he is a physical specimen. Why? Because he knows exactly how much weight he picks up every single day. Because he tracks it. Because he tracks his food. Did it start like that? No, but it started with one thing that bled to another thing. Discipline bleeds, gang. Okay? So awareness, decision, intentionality. Who just had an unlock in less than 15 minutes? Who just wrote down something that was like, I'm going to go transform this area of my life in the next 90 days? Was it cash? Was it money? Was it business? Was it health and fitness? If you had an unlock, just type unlock in the chat. Casey, any questions or conversations you want to have around that?
I love the simplicity of it, right? And the that you started with awareness because I think it's human nature when there's areas that we know that there are for us to improve that sometimes the easiest thing to do is avoid those and put our head in the sand
Well,
and not be aware.
or not, or put our head in the sand, or do what I believe is worse, is grade or judge ourselves where we should be and then beat ourselves up that, hey, I have $10,000 worth of debt and I should have $10,000 in the bank. And I judge myself on that versus, hey, let's go fight this fire and face these facts and then go change to go do that versus just beat myself up all day and judge that I should be here because I've done it for this long. So many times when I'm having a coaching conversation, it's like, when I ask people how long they've been in real estate, and it's like, hey, I've been there 10 years. And I'm like, great, what's your net worth? Well, it should be this. I'm like, I mean, that's like pooping in your diaper and staying in your diaper because it's warm and it's yours. Like, you got to change the diaper. So let's change. Let's get out of the diaper. Let's get our fresh hoodie on, right? Let's go get our fresh stuff on and go get our fresh walking shoes and let's go make steps. Make measurable progress in reasonable time. Okay? Cool. Awesome. Now, tactically, if we want to continue and actually implement this financial transformation, the first thing we have to do, and I'm going to put the ebook in here so the people live showing up get a little gift. mattplumer.com/ebook. And that's just a free download. If you don't get it in your inbox, message me on Instagram or Facebook. I'll make sure you just get the PDF. Tactically, when you're working through that ebook and you create your odds, this is what I want. This is when I want it. 17 years from now, I want to move here. I want this. My kids are gone. They're married. I'm a grandparent. This is what I want. Awesome. How do we do it? First step is we got to pay ourselves first. We have to implement a path of money. What is a path of money? When your brokerage pays you, what happens to that money and who gets it? Whose money is it? Right? And Chris, you and we know each other, so I'm gonna, talk to you because you're also dead in the middle. And so I'm talking to Chris, right? But if Chris goes out and sells a house, right? Chris gets a check from his brokerage. Who all gets that money? Is it all Chris's money? Well, Chris has a couple different roles. Chris is the owner of his real estate business, and so he gets a little bit of that money, and it's $10,000, right? Let's just say this is 10,000 bucks. So Chris gets a dollar. Okay, great. Now, Chris, who sold the house? Well, Chris sold the house. So Chris did the work. He's going to get $4. Now, who else needs the money? The wonderful United States of America needs the money, right? The great state of Wisconsin needs the money. So they get $20. Well, if Chris the owner gets a dollar and Chris the person that sold the house gets four and the government gets two, how many's left? There's $300 left. There's $3. There's $3,000. There's $30,000, whatever it is, to go run the business. Too many times I'm having conversations with real estate agents and high level operators. They're like, hey, I made $1 million, right? I spent 400 grand in my business, admin, TC, transaction coordinator, events, travel, coaching, got it. Marketing, advertising, got it. There's 600 grand net profit. Great. Awesome year. Two questions. What happened to the 600 grand? Where is it? You're profitable on paper. Now I want you to be profitable in your bank account. Where's the 600 grand? Second question. Some of that went home and some of that bought groceries. Some of that went and bought a rental property. Some of that went and invested into a 401k. Some of that went to our trip to Cabo. Got it. Cool. Awesome. Second question. Where's the 200 grand that you owe the government on the 600 grand that you just made? And this is the emoji I get. They don't know. Because the two things that cause the most stress and anxiety for real estate agents, entrepreneurs, and high income couples: inconsistent income, financial disorganization. I want to help you establish a financial organization system that will automatically pay yourself first, will automatically pay yourself for running the business or doing the work, automatically set aside money for taxes based on a percentage that you get or that you need, and then force your business to work on what's left. Would that financial system be beneficial to you and your organization, Casey? Great.
Absolutely.
The hardest part of that entire thing has nothing to do with the mindset or the thing around it. The hardest part of that is tactical, is actually calling Wells Fargo and saying you need 8 bank accounts and them not charging you minimums and fees on 8 bank accounts, or Chase or Capital One or your credit union. And if a credit union, they might do it, but then it's like a stone and a rock and a chisel and a hammer trying to move money. Like it just doesn't work. I've partnered with a bank that makes it super easy, and I'll give you that resource as well. $0 to set it up, to get everything implemented on the things that we're going to talk about today, that also is in the book, to make it super easy to pay yourself first and to set up a financial organized system, right? Because I found a bank that does it like that. It is gorgeous. So that's the path to profit. First of all, you got to pay yourself first. You got to be profitable. The second thing we have to do is we have to add age to our money. What does that mean? That means that some of the money that we come in, let's go back to our $10,000 example. We got a $10,000 check, right? Owner's paid, person that sold the house paid, the government's paid. Okay, we got $3,000 left. Now, this is February. Deal comes in Friday. Boom, 10,000 bucks goes into our accounts automatically. Everything's great. Now, Chris, do you have any deals set up for the rest of the month? Maybe. Do you have any deals set up for March? Got one under contract, but it's a little eh. Do you have anything for April? One. 60 days from now, there's a lot of cars they can buy. They can trip and go buy some sofas and open up a line of credit and kill a $700,000 deal over a $500 chair. How much of this $3,000 do we need to add to April? Because we don't know as real estate agents and entrepreneurs if we have any money coming in 3 months from now. Okay. So now you only have $2,000 to go market and advertise. You don't have 10, you got two. What's that going to force you to do, Chris? Go make more calls, go make more money, go impact more people. So that in March, you've got $20,000 that you get to do all this stuff with. And then you organize it, and then you go do it again, and you go do that in April, and you got $30,000 because you got three deals coming in. And now you've built a predictable business inside of the next 90 to 180 days because you have a financial system that you now realize you don't make all the money. You don't get to keep all the money. You don't get to spend all of the money. And so now you're adding age to it. So you truly have become your own bank, and you've taken the inconsistent income of this to like it's just like this. Now you go do that for 6 months and you have a deal fall through. Is it a three alarm red light, situation? No. That's just called Tuesday in the world of real estate. But if that happens today, it is all hands on deck and you're texting everyone on the planet. You don't know how to buy groceries. So when we stabilize the present to structure the future and we pay ourselves first and we add age to our money, how much of our stress and anxiety has gone away? On all of the things internal, did we fix did we even look at anything external in any of this? No. Did the president of the United States matter? Did what's happening in another state 2,000 miles away matter? Did Fox or CNN, their headlines, did any of that matter? No. We took our 10 grand, we organized it. We said that's not enough. We went to work, we made it 20 grand the next month. That's not enough. We went and made it 30 grand the next month. And we're like, great, can we just keep this pressure forever? And how simple is it to run a 3 transaction a month business? How quickly can we start to exit the transaction treadmill 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now? Because we started adding age to our money. And the third thing, and then I want to open up some Q&A stuff. And I don't know if you've ever heard me talk or anything like this, but there's this, or done anything in money, but there's this word that gives everybody the heebie-jeebies in the world of money. And it starts with the letter B. That's budget. Who are my nerds on the call? Who are my nerds? 13 generation spreadsheet. All right, there's a few. There's a few. Okay. This is called a budget. It's just taking your money, saying, hey, what's up, Will Higgins? Good to see you, man. Taking our money, saying, hey, we're going to give this, we're going to save this, we're going to spend this. This is going to go to food, groceries, utilities, etc., and doing it. And for the nerds, they love that. That gives them warmth. That gives them, freedom, security. I tell that to Casey Council, my free spirit over there. Who's my free spirits? Yeah, two hands up, right? That's like, oh God, I'll just go make more money, right? That's not called a budget, it's called a budget. Freedom spending plan, cash flow spending plan. Here it is on a bumper sticker. Just be intentional with your money. Before you spend it, how much are you going to spend on groceries? I don't have any idea. Great. Take the last 90 days of your credit cards and your bank statements and see how much you've spent on food. You only have to do it once. Average $1,500. Okay, cool. How much was groceries? How much was restaurants and eating out? 1,200 and 300. Cool. Start there. And then for 90 days, track. How many times did I go to Costco? How much was it? And we have software that allows you to do it. it super easy to just say Costco this, Harris Teeter that, Walgreens this, Kroger that, Amazon Fresh, Whole Foods. Like just track it. Because now maybe for the very first time you said, "Hey, I made $30,000. I paid myself 12 or 15,000, right? How much of that am I going to spend on groceries? 1,500. Great. Track the $1,500 and just hold yourself accountable to yourself to that. Great. How much are you going to eat out in restaurants? If you have a challenge of eating out a lot, right? Go to the envelope or go to your digital envelope where you got 500 bucks and every day or every week go to the ATM, grab $100 and go to Chick-fil-A and whole and In and Out and use this money. Don't use your debit card or your credit card. Just use this. This works still. Might not be worth the same as it was, but it still works, right? And so these are some of the tips and the tricks that you have to play. Like, I think if there's one word that we can just encompass this entire conversation around, gamification. Can you gamify your money? Can you organize it in a way that fuels you, right? Does any of us ever grow up playing Nintendo because it was miserable and it sucked and like it was just like we hated it? No, it was fun. And guess what you got to do when you wanted to beat Mario Brothers in the as fast as possible and you fell in the thing because you slipped a button? Guess what you got to do? Dude, hit reset and you start back over again. Like this isn't like you can't hurt this stuff. Right? When you go set up your relay account, you can't break anything. Right? Every dollar, the budgeting app, like you can't break it. It's impossible to break. The only way it breaks is if you don't use it. And it just sits there and goes dormant. It's like the parable of the talents, right? One got five, turned it into 10. One got two, turned it into four. One got one and buried it. What happened to the one that went and buried it? No bueno. I don't think they said that in the Bible, but you get my point. So go use this stuff. It's called currency for a reason. It's not called like pond scum and still water. It's called currency. Go use it. Go use Relay. Go use every dollar. Go read the book. Go take the class. Go show up to the seminar and get active with this stuff and then realize that I've got to go to work and increase the velocity of my activity and increase the velocity of my income. Type in the chat, what do you think your largest expense is as a real estate agent slash business owner? What's your largest financial expense? This is the interactive part of today's class. What's your largest expense? Here you go. Ignorance, wants versus needs. Okay. Payroll, marketing, sometimes people, procrastination. Yeah. I think Debbie's probably the closest, in my opinion. There are real estate agents that make $100,000. Then there are real estate agents in the exact same town that make $1 million. Fair? Right? Every industry. There's lenders that make 100 grand, there's lenders that make a million. And they all pay taxes, and they all have egos, and they all have admin, and they all have advertising, right? But this one made 1 million and this one made 100,000. I believe the largest expense that this one has is the inability or not knowing how to go make $900,000 or knowing how to go make 900 grand and not doing it. And I believe that is your largest expense. And Debbie, that is not on a profit and loss statement, Miss Bookkeeper, right? It's not. You don't see it. It's invisible. But you can't know that unless you're not adding into, you're not getting into the rooms and you're not growing, right? You're not using the law of reciprocity and the power in proximity. And so when you go from here to here, and because you add age and you pay yourself first and you add age, you're starting to see the, hey, if I go increase my activity, are you going to have more money? Because if you go sell three houses a month versus one house a month, does it actually cost you that much more money in your business to actually go sell a couple extra houses? I mean, you got some cost of goods sold, maybe some more photography, maybe some more marketing and stuff like that, but like it doesn't really cost that much more in the ratio of how much more money you can make. And so when you put a pressure on, hey, these my expenses are 20, 25, 30%, regardless if I sell one house or if I sell three houses or four or six, or you're like Mike's team, they sell, 40 a month. Compress the expenses, but pay yourself first to only force the business. And now look how much wealth we can go build. I mean, the difference between, let me just pull up my investment calculator here, and then I want to open this up to questions and just kind of mastermind and conversations. Like investment calculator. Here we go. You would think this is, there we go, pop up. I mean, if we all started with $10,000, um, and we had 20 years and our rate of return was 8 and it compounded and we added um, $100 a month, that's going to give us in 20 years $104,000. Who can get excited about $104,000 in 20 years? Like nobody. Like I am terrified on what $100,000 will buy 20 years from now. These vacations that Melinda Plummer loves to take for her birthday trip that taught me the world of um, adding age to your money, right? I mean, Melinda taught me that. Or my questions asking Melinda what she wanted to do for her birthday and her challenging me to say, I want to go on an international trip every year for my birthday and do something adventurous forced me to go make more money. It forced me to take some of that money and add age to it because the first year she wanted to go was Australia. And we lived in Northern Virginia. I'm like, we passed 40 countries to get to Australia. Can we go to any of those that are closer? And she was like, no, I want to go to Australia. And I was like, I mean, help me understand why you want to go to Australia. Like, we're broke. We live in like the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic. Like, who even thinks about going to Australia? And she was like, I've always wanted to go. I'm like, news to me. Um, and I said, but why? Tell me about that. And she was like, it's the only place in the world where I can scuba dive with great white sharks and the next day hold a koala bear. Like, you haven't put way too much time, effort, and energy around this. And I went on, I was like, okay, Travelocity, how flights, hotels, this, flights around the country, right? Has anybody been to Australia? Like, we've been to a lot of places. I, if I could live in Cabo, I think I could live in Australia. Like, it's such a cool place. But Australia is like, it's literally the size of the United States, right? I mean, it's like, you look at it, it's like Sydney, Melbourne, where Port Lincoln, where there's only one thing to do in Port Lincoln, that is go scuba diving with great white sharks. And then you got the Great Barrier Reef. That's like Miami, New York, Dallas, Las Vegas in 2 weeks. Like it is massive, right? I mean, it's like all those cities are just massive. And so I started planning all this stuff and I was like, okay, I think it's going to be about 12 grand. Now, this was 2018 pricing. This is not 2026 pricing. Like, add another crooked number in front of that thing to go to Australia for 17 days in 2026. It is a pile. But I did it. And I was like, how many houses do I need to sell? Well, if I sell six houses and I make 60 grand and I take 20% of that money and set it aside for Australia, I'm six houses away. How much more excited am I now to go call my database? Make a Facebook post, send out an email, follow up because I want to send my wife to Australia. I want to take my wife to Australia. Check this out. Sydney Opry House, deep sea diving or great white sharks. held a koala bear in 4 days. Next year, Belize. Next year, St. Lucia, Machu Picchu, Costa Rica, skydiving in Dubai. All because we had a conversation about what her Oz was. It's not my Oz. The only thing I care about those are A, putting a smile on her face, and B, what cool golf course can I go play in those countries? These feet were made for tee boxes, not jumping out of airplanes. But I wanted to go serve her, and what did I have to do? I had to go impact more people. And what did I have to do with the money? I went and made more money. I took an added age to it. I added more age so then I could buy the flight and then we could block the dates and then we could book the hotels. And all of this was done with cash on the front end, not credit on the back end. None of these trips that we've gone on was paid using a credit card and then coming home 30 to 45 days later and having a bill for $12,000. Now, do you have to use a credit card or cash? No, it doesn't. That part doesn't matter. The part is we didn't go on the vacation and then the vacation came home with us. The memories came home, not the bill. We left the bill in Australia. Different experience, gang. And you can do that when you pay yourself first and you add age to money and you have a written plan and you do a budget. And Australia's 12 grand. It's not 30. Like we went to Dubai and it's a fortune. Has anybody been to Dubai? Yeah. New York, Miami, Las Vegas times 10. It is a special place. But I did the research 2 years in ahead, and I was like, it's going to be a $20,000 trip to be there for 2 weeks. We want to stay here. We want to stay here. We want to stay here. And we like did the whole thing. How many people is that? That's 17 people in my coaching program for this long. Okay, great. Now I can go impact and serve people because I got a target. And everybody wins. Those 17 people got a transformation. Guaranteed. 100%. Did the same thing when I had my skin removal surgery after losing 100 pounds. How many people? 6 people for 6 months. Okay, cool. Let's go to work. Those 6 people got a transformation. I did the work. I earned the right. I got a transformation. So how can you relate that into your business? You go make your 20 connects, have your 22-minute conversations with agents or database, and have a plan for your money and watch what happens 6 months later. Not 6 years, 6 months. And you keep doing that in 6 years and 60 years, look back and you have how many millions of dollars do you want to leave to your grandkids at that point? So, I know I talked a lot. We've got a few minutes here. I know there's probably some questions around Profit First and the bank and this and that, but I thank you for allowing me to come on and share some inspiration on a Friday. And yeah, let's rock. Let's crush.
I love that. I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I remember before I started paying myself first, the general amount of resistance I had at the thought of paying myself first based on how much debt I was digging out of and re other responsibilities that I had at that time. So, what is the conversation that you have with people who might have resistance to that or like, dude, I'm not in a position to pay myself first?
Yeah, 100%. Start with 1%. Start with $1. Discipline bleeds. You make 10,000 bucks. Can you pay yourself $10 out of, I mean, it's the true, bring your first fruits into the storehouse, right? That's the goal, 10%. But sometimes you can't bring 10% day one, but can you bring one? And can you pay yourself $10 first? And then can you pay yourself $20 for doing the work or $100 first and then $20 for doing the work? And the government gets $100 and then the business expenses get 9,400. And then the next time it's 200, 400, 200 and the business gets $9,100. over and over and over. And then while you're stabilizing that present, can you go through and say, hey, let's eliminate this, this, and this because this doesn't help us get to the next thing. And in our story, Casey, when we were going through our stuff and we had timeshares and car payments and all of this stuff, we had two BMWs that were worth 50% of what we owed on them. And we had timeshares that were like just ridiculous. And I knew that those things were the biggest things on planet Earth. Like if I could just get rid of those. But those are the elephants. I couldn't move that day one. And I will never forget. And we were making about 8 grand, spending about 13,000 a month. Making eight when we started this journey. And I'll never forget picking up the phone and calling Sprint. And I think at that time it was maybe Allstate. I think it was Allstate. And I called Allstate and I saved $36 on our monthly car insurance. And then I called AT&T or Sprint or whoever it was, and I saved like $30 a month on our cell phone bill. And I was like, that's $60 a month. That's $700 a year. And I'll never forget telling Melinda like how proud I was of like doing that. And she was like, "What's that mean? What's that matter?" I was like, "That means that we can do this." Because if I can go to call those people and save 30 to $60, we're going to build up enough courage to call BMW and negotiate a thing on our cars. And I just had to start small. Think big, go small, trust the dominoes will fall. Think big, go small, trust the dominoes will fall. And then when you get to a season where it's like, I've got to make a decision, right? I talked about this on Brent's call last week or 2 weeks ago. If you're a NASCAR fan and you're just making, what do they do in racing if they're on a normal track? They start in pit lane, start the engines, they go out, and all they do for the next 2.5 hours is just what? Left-hand turns. That's all they do. Do they ever go anywhere? No. Where do they end back up? Pit road. When you get to that left-hand turn, I want you to turn right. Now, metaphorically, not on the racetrack, because the right-hand turn is into the wall. So metaphorically, make a right-hand turn, get off the track you're running on. When you're at the fork of the road, just make a right instead of a left. And for us, what I want you to hear is I want you to get from A to B. What's required for you to get from A to B? For us, when we got through all of the stuff, we got to the cars, we ended up selling a car. We short sold a car. Took a $1,300 payment down to a $300 payment because we had some cash. We sold this, but we had more credit that we could, and we earned the right where we literally short sold the car. We won't get into the details, but we only have one car, but we got $1,000 more back in our budget. I just need to get from A to B. Can I use Uber? Can Melinda and I figure out how to drive one car for 90 days and not kill each other? This was in 2014, gang. December 2020, December 2014. We went to a one-car family. In the chat, how long do you think we drove one car for? Our goal was 90 days. We got to 90 days, looked at each other. Did we die? No. We're still here. Did we kill each other? No. We're still here. Okay. Can we go another 90 days? Yep. Save $1,000, save $2,000. Do we need another car? I really don't like sharing one car. 8 years later, we got a second car. Uber, conversations, walking across the street to the meeting. Now, I know some of you guys can't do that, but like we had to make a decision to drive one car just to get from A to B. Now that we moved to Las Vegas is when we bought a second car. I bet we have a car, we have a nice car, and we have the same car that we drove in Northern Virginia. The one car, that we paid cash for, the Range Rover, has 36,000 miles on it. We've had it for 3.5 years. The other car, I bet we haven't driven it 6,000 miles in 3.5 years. We probably could still live on one card. Now it's just a convenience thing. And so back to your original question is like, how do you do it? It's like just one step at a time. Get from A to B.
So I have another question for you.
Yes.
You were talking about having multiple accounts set up
Hmm.
so that there is a plan. And
Yes.
you mentioned eight. Is that the actual number of accounts that you recommend setting up,
That
or
was the first number that just came into my head. Um, so if you look at my account, it would be overwhelming. I mean, we've been dating for 52 minutes. Me, me showing you a dashboard of 17 accounts would like be overwhelmed. I want you to set up on the business side profit first. I want you to have one account where all of the money goes into income. I want you to have an account called profit where 1% goes to. I want you to have an account when in Relay. I posted the link for Relay in the chat. I want you to have an account called owner's compensation, owner's pay. That's where 10 to 50% goes to. That's your money. I want you to have an account for taxes, 1 to 20%. I want you to have an account for operation expenses. That's where you're going to pay for your coaching and pay for your flights and pay for your gas and pay for your meals and entertainment out of operation expenses. And then I want you to have one more account called business savings, and that's where you add age to your money. So what is that? Profit, owner's pay, taxes, OpEx, payroll. No, savings. Then, as you bring yourself onto payroll, open up a payroll account. As you want to set up a vacation fund or an events tab or events account, put whatever's left, Debbie, whatever's left in operation expenses. After you pay yourself, owners pay taxes, then what's left. Um, and then like the map that we create inside of our challenge and like inside of my inner circles and stuff, like the next line you draw over is from owner's pay to your personal bank account. Your SoFi, your Ally, where you're paying your mortgage out of. Like all of these accounts, except for operation expenses, are just holding accounts. We're just organizing the money. We never spend out of any of those accounts. We only spend out of the OpEx and we just send the money to the other places. Call them buckets. Perfect. Yeah. They're accounts, they're buckets. Um, and I walk, I mean, literally, I mean, this, what I do for a living is I walk people through this framework, whether it's one-on-one or a challenge, a group, whatever it is, through webinars, through just conversations, right? I mean, sometimes you just like be in the room and take action,
Yep, I love that.
right?
So I know we only have a couple of minutes left on the call, and you have a group that's starting
Yeah.
soon. So tell us about that, and for people that want to participate in that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put my Instagram. Instagram's a great place to get connected, Facebook as well. But I've got what's called the Path to Profit Challenge, where we actually take the concepts of today and we put them into a workshop environment for a morning on one day so that you can install this actually into your business practically in an after or in a morning. And that's going to be on February 17th. You can message me on, get connected to me off of here. The site is mattplumer.com/challenge if you want to like see all of the details, like the time and the day. Um, but yeah, like let's get connected. If this does interest you, um, it's less than $100 to spend the morning with us and with a group. Um, I think one of the things that I pride myself on, like where my ego comes from, is I pride myself on creating an extremely safe environment to have some of the most vulnerable conversations. And it starts here, right? Where you're not really having the conversation, you're kind of hearing it. You can have the conversation in the challenge. And then down the road, if you ever want to, like Griffin, for example, is in the wealth department. We're, you know, personally on the thing and also in DMs, we've had very vulnerable conversations. And it's something that I pride myself on is that just making it a safe, warm place, whether you have 5 zeros, 5 digits, 2 commas, everybody's situation is the exact same. The only difference is how many zeros and how many commas. And we've been able to just normalize that and to create a safe environment to have those conversations.
I love that. Well, I want to thank you for having the taking the time out of your schedule to be on the call today. So much value. I love the fact that you shared, your kind of your before snapshot. And as I was seeing it and hearing that part of your story, I was thinking about that when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of changing is when people will change. And so there's always a beauty. Transformation doesn't happen without a breakdown. Got to have a good breakdown to have a
Mhm.
good transformation. So I love the fact
Yeah.
that you've created a safe space for that. You've normalized that you've been walking the path and helping other people walk that path as well. And it's definitely needed, right? And so it's one of those areas in my experience where it can be one of the most challenging and vulnerable places to have conversation. Financial things are one of the number one issues in relationships, and how to, it's a relationship inside of relationships, right? And so it's
Mhm.
really important and it's foundational to everything that we do. So I love the value that you bring, everything that you shared today, and a clear path for people to be able to walk. And for those of you that want to walk that with you, they know how to get in touch with you. And so
Sure.
grateful for you spending the time with us today. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And if you're going to Cabo, I'll see you in a month in Cabo. Um, and yeah, if you ever want to have a conversation, Facebook, Instagram's the easiest place to get connected. Selena's got all my contact information as well. So if you missed all that, reach out to her. She can make sure we all get connected. And if you're going to Cabo, I'll see you in Cabo, 3 weeks.
All right. We'll see you there. Thanks so
Awesome.
much.
See you. Take care. See you, everyone.
Bye.